Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. What's up, paintball world? This is Steve Reyes from New York Wrecking Crew. Welcome to the first ever pilot episode of Next Point, where each episode we dive into some aspect of competitive paintball, whether that's training, film review, IQ concepts, mental training, anything that'll give us the competitive edge in tournament paintball. So let's kick this first one off. I'm excited to do this thing. I've been reluctant to do it because in so many ways I'm still a student of this game. I have so much to learn just like everybody. But this game's been good to me. I've been able to learn from some pretty spectacular players, be coached and critiqued by legends. I've been able to compete and practice against truly some of the best in the world. So a good friend of mine and close confidant, Mr. Frank Ford, he really pushed me to do this podcast. And it felt like maybe this was the right time. He gave me some good sage advice too about how this first episode might look like and how we should put it together. He suggested I write down a few ideas or concepts that I'd like to talk about and I thought might be relevant, other people might get value from. And one just kept really sticking out. It was this idea of being ready for the moment. Not sure why that one was sticking out so much. Maybe it's because of the timing. We're about 8 days away from Cup. It's a culmination of the season. A lot of hard work has been put in all year. And this is our Super Bowl. This is the event of the year. Anytime you get to go deep in a tournament of this magnitude, there are going to be some crucial moments. These moments that are simply more important than others. Each set, each point ends up being more and more important. So what can we do to make sure we're ready for the moment? So I figured I'd break down some different concepts and strategies that might help us in being ready for the moment when it comes time. So let's start with the first section. The first section is just some simple blocking and tackling. These are things we can do before practice, weeks before layout practice, to have our bodies and minds ready. And just some simple stuff, man. Let's start with food. How are we eating? The last thing I want to do is tell people how to eat. That might be the most controversial topic of all. But we know if we're eating like assholes. We know if we're giving our body the fuel it needs to perform. What about hydration? What's our hydration level? What's our electrolyte intake? Are we cutting the alcohol? Are we cutting the sugary, salty drinks leading up to the tournament? What's our sleep like? Are we focused on sleep? Are we staying out all night partying? Are we eating late? Playing video games deep into the night? You know, those three simple things, just food, hydration, sleep, can really make all the difference. Can change your mood, change your performance, ultimately change the results you can get. So let's call that step one. What can we do for our bodies and minds to set us up for success? These are things we can do weeks in advance. Make sure we're well nourished, well hydrated, well rested. 3 easy steps that don't require any skill, don't require talent. Just a little bit of effort, right? So let's go to the second section. I wanted to discuss our mentality going into layout practice. Probably layout practice a little more relevant for everybody right now as we're getting ready for World Cup. And 2 words just kept coming up when I started thinking about the mentality we need. Those 2 words are focus and effort. Focus and effort. I really like linking these two because I rarely see people focused and not putting in the effort. It almost doesn't make sense. How can you be focused and not putting effort? Focus requires effort. Now I see a lot of people putting in effort, and it's not always focused. It's not always organized, and the results can show it. But I don't think I've ever seen anybody with strong, consistent focus not putting the effort in. So those are 2 free things we can come to practice with. The mentality of we are going to focus and we will put in the requisite effort. I am going to be paying attention because I'm focused. I'm going to be paying attention to how my teammates are playing. I'm going to be watching the opponents. What are they doing that's working? What are we doing that's working? What are some things that we're doing that, we need to stop? What kind of opportunities do we see on the field that can be exploited? All these things are here, available if we can just pay a little attention. Another great part about paying attention is it helps us remember. Remember each point. Remember what we were thinking during each point. The mistakes and the good plays. What was our mindset? What were the opponents doing? What was their position? What about my teammates and their positions? All these little details about the point matter. Focus and effort will lead to paying attention. Paying attention will lead to remembering more. The more we can remember, the more we can learn. The more we can learn, the more we know and understand about the field that our opponents don't, right? Another nice part about this is if we can stay focused and we can bring the requisite effort and we can pay attention, we can contribute to the game plan. Now, just because we're a player doesn't mean we can't contribute to the game plan. What do you like out there? What tendencies are we seeing? Can we understand how our team wants to win? How does our team win on this layout? Can we have an understanding of what the coach is trying to make happen to help get on the same page? You know, there's a time for Chiefs and there's a time for Indians, no question. But it's good to have an engaged team with teammates who have things to offer, things to contribute. And again, just like the first section, none of this takes talent. It has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with skill. You know, you don't need anybody to do these things for you. You can decide to be focused. You can decide to bring the requisite effort. You can pay attention, right? It doesn't cost us anything. We're going to be at practice anyway, right? What can we get out of those practices? So let's move on to the third section. Let's get a little more tactical on this third section. What are some things we should be paying attention to while we're playing points? While we're in points or X-ball sets with our sparring partners at layout practice, whatever we got going on. What are the types of things we should really be paying attention to? What are the types of information that we really need to focus on? Well, I'll start with this. Very simple, very crucial. Memorize our shots. Memorize our shots. Who can we shoot? From what position can we shoot them from? Can we, in our mind's eye, see all the available shots and positions we can get to shoot to them? Can we be ready for them on a moment's notice? Do we have them memorized? Can we look through that edge of the bunker and essentially see our opponents before we snap out? Do we know the exact line we can put our body in, where our posture is such that we don't give away anything, but we're ready for an effective snapshot? Memorizing our shots, man. Memorizing our shots. Simple, simple, simple. But how many players do you think have all the shots memorized? Furthermore, we have to reverse the logic. If it's good for our opponents to memorize the most effective shots, it might be good for the players in those vulnerable bunkers to also have the opposing shots memorized, right? Okay, I'm playing a 35-yard line tower that's looking down on the snake side, and my job is to try to contain a red alert. Okay. What are the shots when you're in the snake? Do you know the shots? Where do they have to go to shoot them? Well, let's be prepared for that, right? Maybe we can start shooting some of those locations before the opponents come out. Just keep them in their bunkers. Maybe we roll off to a singular cut, knowing the problematic positions. This can be crucial. There are always some key bunkers that can be problematic. And memorizing our shots helps us identify those faster and use them more effectively. As a back player, I need to know all the key locations on the field and the shots. As an attacker, I need to know all the key locations and the shots. I see a lot of times, a lot of players are in attacking positions, engaging with opponents that they simply don't have to. Opponents and positions that could be ignored. And that's what's really, really nice about knowing all the problematic positions as an attacker, because if I can establish that they are not in those problematic positions, a lot of times there's a lot of free ground to be taken. I can get into positions to get kills or get into positions to take real estate, and I don't have to take a risk. I don't need to battle that stand-up can insert into the snake. For all intents and purposes, he might be irrelevant. Knowing these problematic positions really lets us know how we can play the field. Where can I go for free? Where do I have to work to get to? Do I just need a good snapshot and go? Do I need to ask for some help from my back players? Do we need to get 2 guns on a guy to get them in for sure while I make a move? As a back player, am I in position to effectively stop the attackers from getting to these key locations that a competent attacker should be trying to get to? All those things can be answered once we know our shots and we know the problematic positions. And once we know the shots and the problematic positions, this is where we have to get into mental repetitions. Mental repetitions of the situations. Mental repetitions of the shots. A lot of times this is after practice. This is when we're back at the team house, going to sleep, getting ready for the next day. This is where we need to be going over how the day went. Having mental repetitions. Okay, maybe we made a mistake. Okay, let's put ourselves in our mind's eye back into that situation and let's correct it. What would have been the right answer in that situation? Let's repeat that in our mind's eye again, right? All things, again, just like the other 2 sections, doesn't require skill, doesn't require talent. Anybody can have their shots memorized. Anybody can be aware of the problematic positions. Anybody can do mental repetitions. We've all imagined we can use our imagination to put ourselves on the field in situations that we're going to see. And to bring it back to the original topic of being ready for the moment, we have 1,000 opportunities to interact with that moment before the time comes. In our mind, we've been ready for the moment many, many times. And so when the time comes in real life, we simply execute. So we have to continue that focus, memorizing our shots, memorizing our problematic positions, mental repetitions of the situations, the reps, the shots. Continue it even in between practice as we're getting ready to go down to the tournament. This is all part of the mental preparation. It's part of seeing victory. It's what a lot of these top athletes are talking about. This is where that self-talk gets involved. You are the man. You do know what to do. You are well prepared. And the mental repetitions are just part of that. Memorizing the shots, memorizing the problematic positions. It's all part of it, right? So for this last section, now the exciting part. Now we're at the tournament. Now we've done the food, hydration, sleep, put our bodies in good physical situations to be ready and prepared. We came into practice with focus and effort, paying attention, remembering what we did, contributing to the game plan, understanding how our team wants to win. We memorized our shots. We know the problematic positions. We know the field. We've repped it physically and mentally. And now we're at the tournament. And now we're in execution mode. And the funny thing about these tournaments, man, each point, each set, as you go deeper and deeper, they keep getting more and more important. They're more and more relevant. The consequences get heavier. Lose and go home. Win and continue on. And this is where there's this really nice concept I'm excited to share. This is where this comes in. I've been nervous countless times. Talking in front of people, music, this game, so many times. Been nervous a million times. But I found a tool that really helped me reframe it. And I wish I could say I remember where I got it from. I remember the concept. I don't remember where I quite got it though. But this is the idea. You are not nervous. Let me say it again. You are not nervous. You are excited. You are excited because a moment of importance is in front of you. Nervousness and excitement are a similar emotion. They feel similar. They have similar physiological responses. In a lot of ways, maybe they're brother and sister. But you are not nervous. You are excited. And why aren't you nervous? Why are you excited instead of nervous? Because maybe unlike other times in the past, you did the work. You took care of your body. You came into practice with the right mental attitude. You memorized your shots. You learned the field. You continued your focus up until this point. And now you're at the moment of execution. But remember, you're not the student who didn't study for the test. You know the test. You're prepared to ace it. You're not nervous. You're fucking excited. You're excited at an opportunity before you. You're ready to rely on your preparations. I think that's what it's about. Control the controllables. Control the controllables. And one last part of this, man. This is the toughest for me. It's been something I've been trying to get more and more into my consciousness, and it's just something I battle with. And that's letting go of the results. When it comes time, and it's 1 minute to the point, it's 30 seconds, you're walking out in the field, you're walking out to the box, there's no time for results. You're thinking about your job. You're thinking about opportunities. You're thinking about how you want to execute what you're about to accomplish with your teammates. You're reading the box. You're reading your opponents. You're remembering the scouting report. You remember their tendencies. You know what's coming. These are the preparations you rely on. You don't need to think about the results. The results will think about themselves. You think about your job. Think about your opportunities, your execution, your positive mental conversations, linking up with your teammates, connection, paying attention. All these little things. This is when it all comes into culmination, and we can let go of the results. Stop trying to squeeze this thing into existence. When we let go of the results, it allows for more mental focus on the right things. The things you can control. And that's it right there. Finding every bit of wasted energy, every distraction, every doubt, and rightfully discarding it. Faith. Not talking about faith in God or anything. Faith in your preparations. Faith in your effort. Faith in your teammates' preparations and effort. Your shared vision. Let go of the results. Focus on the job. Focus on the opportunities. Focus on the execution. Let the results follow. So thank you for listening to this first pilot episode of Next Point Podcast. If you're digging it, give it a like, follow, share on the usual socials and podcast platforms. And until the next time, on to the next point.